Hello everyone and welcome to another rendition of Zenfolio Live. My name is Kayla and I am a part of the customer support team if you've never seen me here before. It has been a while since I've done one of these. Robert's kind of taken over with these and I'm doing some of the videos for the channel now, but every now and then you might see me. Robert did have a family emergency today, so definitely keep him in your thoughts while he is traveling. But I'm here with you guys today to answer any questions you have. Definitely didn't want to cancel on you. We did have a slight delay because of all the transitioning though, so I appreciate you guys bearing with us through all the craziness today. So we are totally prepared to do this live stream though, and I hope you guys will enjoy it and get all your questions answered. So be sure to say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're from, especially if you're new. We love hearing where everyone is from because we have a very global audience. And we just love to hear from you in general. You can let us know what sort of photography stuff you've got going on in your life. If you just got a really awesome new client or anything along those lines. We love to hear it. So today we're going to be going over triggered emails, but also specifically how to set up a triggered email to go out for favorite sets. So this can be really cool because you can provide information to your clients without having to do any work following the initial setup. So it's a great way to just kind of keep in communication with your clients without having to do anything. So to start, let's begin with what a triggered email actually is and where to find them. So basically a triggered email is an email that gets sent to your client when they have some sort of, or they've taken some sort of action on your site. So that action could be anything from creating a client account to sending an email to your contact page. There are a lot of different options there, but anything where their email address is going to be involved is pretty much going to be an option. So whenever they complete this action, you can have an email that gets sent to them automatically. And you can choose whatever you want to say in it. So it's a great feature for providing like additional instructions or letting them know how soon you'll be able to reach back out to them, sending them discount codes, things like that. So any information you want to convey when that action is taken, totally possible to let them know. So to begin setting this up, you'll want to go to the communications area of your site. So that's going to be up here. Oh, and one quick note, we do have a new photo page. Some very, very new users will definitely be on this page, but some older people may not have all of these same options in this blue bar at the top. All of the functionality is still there though, so you may just have to look a little harder for some stuff, but I'm going to be on the new photo page going forward. So I'm going to go into the email communications area. And we're going to go to the triggered emails tab. There we go. So when you're in triggered emails, you'll see that there is a lot of different stuff here that you can do. Lots of different options. So I guess with this, today we're just going to focus on the favorite set creation. But again, you can totally do this for anything you want to. You know, when they create a client account, a visitor sign-in, really anything. Again, that's going to involve their email address because you obviously have to send it to an email address. So definitely check out the other options, but we will be focusing on the favorite set stuff today. So a quick note, with the favorite sets, there are two options here. And one is when it's created and one is when it is shared. And for those of you who don't know, with the favorite sets, it is possible to create one and not really share it with the photographer. But you as the photographer can see that on the back end of your account anyway, whether it's shared or not. So this is basically just going to be when they create the favorite set. And the thing about this is that it will only send the email when it is a brand new favorite set. If they've just added to the default favorite set that's called My Selection, or they add to an older one they've created, they will not get this email. So you want to encourage them to actually create a favorite set for a specific gallery, really. If they've done several shoots with you before, it's just best to have that separation. So you want to make sure they know how to do that first, and then they'll get every bit of these emails that you need them to. So just one quick little note there. Now, what I'll do to get started is click Edit over on the right here. And you'll see this little area up here. Here I can add an email template that I've made and choose how many days out I want them to receive that email. So let me take a look here. Right, so I already created some email templates, but I can show you how to make those on your own too. So let me get my head out of the way here. So in order to actually create your own email template, like you'll see I have the email 1 and email 2 here and just some other random one. You want to scroll up to the top and go back to the templates tab. And once you're there, you'll just scroll down to the custom email templates area and you'll want to create a new template. So whenever you get to the new template area, you'll want to just give it a name. It's nothing the client will see, but it's basically just so you know what it is. So I usually name it like email 1, email 2, so I can kind of keep up. Now that said, the subject and the body is what will actually be shown to the client. So let me show you the one that I created for email 1. So I just say, I'm glad you are enjoying your photos. Since they are creating a favorite set and kind of like hearting them, I like to just say like, oh, I'm glad you like your photos, you know. Then I just say, hi there, I couldn't help but notice you favorited some photos, glad you're enjoying them. The favorites feature has a few different options and tools you can use. So I've actually got a link to a video here, and this is a client-facing video from Zenfolio, and it just kind of explains what the favorites feature is and how to use it. So it can be super helpful, you know, just to say like, hey, like I see you're adding this stuff, but like, you know, are you doing it right? And just send them this link. It's like a 2-minute long video and can really help them along in the process. And then I just remind them that they're welcome to reach out to me and they'll be all set, good to go. And I just sign it with my name and my business name here. So you can also check out the list of variables. It's not really necessary in this situation, I don't think, but there is a big list of variables that just kind of like plug in some information. I would kind of avoid it for these triggered emails because it's not going to know where to grab a lot of that information. So it's something you can look into, but I would not recommend using it for the actual triggered emails. So that said, I've also created a second one here. And again, just, you know, email 2, but this one is just checking in. And this one I'm going to set to go out to the client just a little bit longer, farther out, just to remind them that like, hey, you know, I've got all this done. So I just said here, I just want to send another quick email to check in and say hello. If you have any questions or want to do another shoot, give me a call. I would love to talk with you. So these triggered emails are also a great opportunity to just reach out without actually really having to reach out, because you know, it's a very busy job having to stay in touch with everyone. So I've just got the initial one with instructions, the second one here with just a hey, how you doing sort of thing. And in the triggered emails area, I'm going to set those up so that they go out a specific number of days afterwards. So I'm going to go to edit over here on the right. For the first template, I'm going to select it here. And I want it to go out 0 days after it's created. And you'll see here that that just means it's going to go out immediately. And then I'll add a second one, the email 2. And for this, I might do like 90 days. That would probably be my recommendation. You don't really want to do it 7 days out or anything, because like it's probably still pretty fresh in their memory. But about a 3-month period is pretty good, I think. You know, it's a whole new season. They may be ready to book new or a new shoot with you, and they might even just want to go back and revisit their old stuff and say like, oh hey, you know, someone's birthday is coming up, let me order. So it can be super, super, super helpful to have this feature available to you. So that all said, we can now look at exactly how this is going to look for a customer and what they would need to do in order to actually trigger this email. Because if you'll remember, I did mention that if they just add to the default one, it is not going to work. So I'm just going to click Save and Enable, click the Enable button, and we should be good to go. Perfect. So I'm going to go to my site. If you truly want to check this out in the best way possible, I would probably just create a client account just to see it like truly as a client would. But in short, there should be, well, I do not have it, so maybe I will log out. Let's see. I'm just going to create a brand new client account because why not? There should be a login button down in the bottom right corner. well, I don't have one on my site. Well, you want to make sure you have one on there. I do not right now. But I'm just going to add login.html to the end of my username. That's a good trick for getting to that login page to create something. And when I get there, I can create an account. So I'm just going to say my full name is Kayla Flawless Photography Test at gmail.com. Just make up a quick password and agree. And then I'll register. So now, why is that not showing up? Well, let's go to my account. Maybe we can, maybe I have to be in a gallery. Let's see what's going on here. We'll go into weddings. Well, my computer hates me, so sorry about that. Let me see. I wonder if the text is just there and it's just not working for some reason. Oh, there we go. Okay, I had to add one first. So, whenever you hover over a image, like let's just say this is their gallery, and you click that little heart icon, it will prompt them to make a client account if they don't already have one, so that is a requirement just to get that email to send it to. And from there, like I said, it is going to add it into the My Selection area by default. So you'll want to encourage your clients to do this in a more proper way, which would be to create a brand new photo set for each shoot, just to keep things separated and organized. So I might name this, I guess this is a weddings group, so I'll say the Smith wedding, and click create. And now I've got this second one. I can switch back to the My Selection one if need be, but now I'll actually need to add this one again to the Smith wedding. And now that they've created that additional one, they should be good to go. They should receive that first email immediately, and a timer starts as soon as they do that to send out that second one within 90 days. So it is pretty straightforward. It's just that little tricky bit of getting around the My Selection part. You'll definitely want to provide some instruction to them because most people will just go with that My Selection area. But that is the basic gist of it. And if you have any questions about that, definitely feel free to throw them out in the chat. We've got Claudia with us today moderating, so she will be happy to pass your questions along to me, and we can look at those together. So let me get logged back into my account. That would be good. I had to log out to make all that happen. So let's see. I am not in my admin account. We are in my demo account. Okay. So now we are back in the Flawless Focus Photography account and can answer all your chat questions. Okay, so let's get caught up in chat here. Let's see. So Roxanne is with us today. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us again. It's always good to see you here. And we got Home Phone. Aloha. Roxanne is actually from Canada, and we love hearing from her. We're a US-based company, and I'm in North Carolina myself, so it's really cool just to be able to connect with people all over the globe, I think. All right. So Roxanne said, I need a refresher on how to order our images at cost for ourselves. So it's actually a really great question. There are kind of two ways to go about it, but I will show you my preferred way of doing it, which is actually in the back end of your account. And in the back end, you would just kind of go into a gallery. Does not matter, you know, which one. You can order from any of them. Even if you have like selling turned off in a gallery for your customers, you'll be able to order it yourself in the back end of your account, even if selling's turned off. You'll just want to go into the one that you need to be in. And for example, it might be the ceremony gallery I have here. So for this, I would go to Actions. And wait, I need to select an image. So select an image first, and then I'll go to Actions and then Buy Products. So you can also select multiple ones. So let's just say you have several you want to order as an 8x10. You would just select all of those, come in and select the 8x10 option, and just roll with that. Then you'll go back, select all the ones you want as 5x7s, and do that. And if you have like just a weird mix or you're not really sure what you want and want to explore your options, I would just select one to start because you can always go back and order more. So I might just go to the prints from there. If it wants to load, there we go. And let's just say I want an 8x12 of this. I'll just click add. And it'll look very, very similar to what the client is going to see here. You can still adjust your cropping, rotate, convert to black and white, all that good stuff. If it's pretty much good to go for you, you can just add it to the cart, change your quantity, whatever you need to do. And after that is added to the cart, you'll get the little notification that it is there. It'll take you right back to the page with the images, and you can order the next one. And just to repeat that process, you'll select the next one, go to actions, and then buy products. Now, the other way to do this is actually in the front-facing end of your account, but I wouldn't recommend this because it can get a little bit tricky. When you actually select the option, I guess, to like enter a gallery when you are logged into your account, it'll ask you whether you want to order at base lab prices, which are your prices, or at visitor prices. Because sometimes you may have a visitor there with you who just, needs some additional help, and you're going to help them place the order, but you want them to pay their price. So it can get a little bit tricky, and once you select that option until your browser cache clears again, it will hold on to that option. So you may accidentally order at visitor prices, which, you definitely don't want to do. You don't want to charge yourself all that extra stuff. So I think this is personally the easiest way to do it, and that's what I would recommend. All right, what else have we got going on in chat here? So we've got Dave Files from Austin, Texas. Thanks for joining us, Dave. Feel free to throw out any questions you have. They can be completely brand new or like very advanced. Totally fine either way. And thank you, Claudia, for sending out that link to Roxanne. Yeah, and you can totally review that too. It kind of takes you step by step rather than having to keep up with me going 3,000 miles an hour. All right. So I guess we're all caught up in chat. We can take some email questions if that'll work for you guys. Let me get those pulled up. Okay. So this first email I have says, under the contact tab, there is nothing. How do I put my information in so that it will show up under the contact tab? So if I had to guess, it sounds like this person is referring to the contact form on their website. So actually, I'll go to it as a user would see it. So the contact page on the left does not have any information filled out for them, it sounds like. And just to show you what they're talking about here, it's this information on the left. I've just got some like throwaway information plugged in here on my demo site. But to actually fill out that information, it's done on the back end of your account, not on this page itself, since we use that contact information as well in Zenfolio. So in order to actually get to that, I'm going to hover over my name in the upper right and go to account. And whenever that loads, we will go to contact information. And whatever you enter here is what's going to show up on that page. But it's also just kind of helpful for us at Zenfolio in case we need to contact you via phone. Just having your number plugged in there is super nice. So I would recommend plugging it all in here. There's even a place to add some extra information. So like let's just say you have particular hours or like you're going to be closed down for the holiday, something like that you could put in this little extra area at the very bottom here. So like I say here, please feel free to contact me regarding anything you're curious about, blah, blah, blah. So yeah. And then you can just save it and you should be good to go. All right. Let's see here. We can take another email question. My account is starting to get really hard to navigate through. Can you give me some tips on how to organize my galleries and photos so it is easier to find things? Absolutely. This is something I kind of specialize in, honestly, because we get so many questions about this all the time. Not that it's necessarily complicated, but just that there's so many different ways to do it. So I can show you what I would recommend, and I kind of have an example here actually. So at the very bottom here, you'll see that I have my client galleries group, and I keep this separate from like my portfolio area just so I can constantly be updating my portfolio with new images as I get them, but I want to keep those portfolios separate so a general user coming to my site can see all of my best images. And anyone who has a gallery that they have like paid me to, photograph, I can just throw it in here and have like a private gallery set aside for them. Now within that, I will do a year, and then within that year, I'll kind of break it up into categories. So here I have wedding, sports, and everything else. You could do like portraits, children, family, whatever you need to do. Now within my weddings group, I have another one. And this is going to be the actual name of the client and the date. I like to put the date on there just so I can, quickly reference if I'm like, oh God, when did I shoot that wedding? I can just say, okay, this one was in June of 2018. And I like to include their last name and that it was a wedding, even though it's in the weddings category, just so there was no confusion, like this was the wedding, not like the bridals that I did or something like that. And within that group, I will break it up into the actual galleries. And those galleries, this was a quick and easy wedding that I shot, so just the ceremony and the portraits after. But if you had like the getting ready photos and the reception, you could kind of break them all up like that, get some true organization going, and have them be able to download all those images separately to keep them separate for themselves too. It can kind of make ordering the photos a little bit easier too. And they can go in and choose favorites. We were just going over the favorite set, just to kind of put them all together whenever they're ready to order, or just keep them separate and order that way. So they kind of can do either one. But I would definitely recommend breaking it up at least by year. You can go into some really deep detail and break it up into like seasons if you're like a sports photographer. You do like spring and fall, something like that. But this is the general setup I would recommend, is having groups within groups within groups within groups and galleries at the very bottom. So I hope that helps. And it looks like we do have a chat question from Roxanne. She said, also struggling with digital sales and pricing. Is there a fee for us to download our own images? So there is not a fee for you to download your own images, assuming you're just downloading them back to your computer, I guess is what you're talking about. So like for example with this gallery, let's just say I had like these 4 I wanted to download back to my account. I would just go to Actions and then Download Original Files. And those are just downloaded back to your account with no problem. Now, if you actually place an order for some reason, I guess you would be charged, but you wouldn't necessarily have to do that as the account owner. Now, that said, if a customer is placing an order, there will be a 7% service fee on those digital products that you're selling. So if you have, like, let's say a full gallery download and you're selling it for $100, 7 of those dollars will go to Zenfolio and you will make $93 on that sale. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. It's kind of hard to say without actually looking at your account, but if you do have any other questions, definitely let us know, Roxanne. All right. Got another email question here. This one says, is it possible to have watermarks in different positions or only one? So yes, it is possible. Let me get my head out of the way here because you're going to want to see my whole screen for this one. So I'm going to go into the watermarks area of the photos section. And for those of you who don't know, the watermarks are just like, you can upload your logo and they'll show up over top of the photos to prevent people from taking screenshots. And you can kind of position these around your photos in different ways. So I have actually set this up in my account already this way. It's something I do personally. I have like a medium-sized logo that I've uploaded here. And I've got the bottom left position set as my default one. And I can always tell by going into the properties, I'll see the location is set to bottom left. And for those of you who don't know, when you click on the properties section after uploading, you can actually like drag this around to show in whatever area you need it to. So I've actually duplicated this 4 different times. And with that, I've put one in the upper left, one in the upper right, one in the bottom right, so that I can kind of move it around so it's not totally blocking someone's face. Sometimes you want it to block someone's face though. Like, I know that sounds awful, but I've had situations where I've just had a client who has like screenshotted all of my images and cropped out my watermark. So in some situations you may just, if you're going to do business with them going forward, which I personally wouldn't, you may want to put that over their face so they actually have to buy the image. But for me, I usually don't run into that a lot, so I have it set so I can just move the watermark around into a corner of the photo. But you could also do a center one if you wanted. Now, the easiest way to do this is just to click on the watermark and duplicate it. You can name it whatever you want, so let's just say this is going to be the center one. So I'll say medium-sized center. And I'll go to the properties and actually move that one into the center. Where is the center? There we go. And I can save that. So now I have one in the center. But yeah, that duplicate button is super easy, so you don't have to keep uploading and uploading. It can be very, very helpful to be able to do that. All right, let me get my face back here. There we go. So it looks like Claudia sent out another good link. That would be for the digital sales just setup process. So you want to check that out, but just to go over it in the video today too, we can totally check that out. In the selling section of your account, once you are there, there is a digital products area. And just to kind of explain the flow here, you're going to want to create a digital product first, and then add it to your price list, and then assign that price list to a gallery. So once it is like fully on the price list and assigned, people can then go in and purchase their digital products. And you'll see here I have a couple. Like this one is just a one digital download. This one has 5. This one has 5. And they have different licensing available on each one, just for different purposes. I might come in here though, and since I have 1 and 5, I could do like a 10 image download, for example. So let's call this 10 high-res images. And they are photos. I would pick an appropriate license. It does not matter at this point though. And if it's going to be high resolution, I can make it 5 megapixels, but honestly I would just leave it at my original photo size. That's assuming that you are uploading high-res images though. So keep it in the downloads category, and since there are going to be 10, I'm going to want to make that minimum and maximum number 10, just to force them to order 10 photos for whatever price. And I can put the 5 download option and the 1 download option on the same price list, so you can kind of choose, and maybe I'll like stagger the pricing and make it a little cheaper for getting 10 versus like 2 of the 5, you know, something like that. So I can also upload a placeholder, and then I can save it. And from here you would just go into your actual price list and assign whatever pricing you think is appropriate to it. It really doesn't matter, and it's totally up to you how you want to do that. I've seen people sell them for as cheap as $1 and charge as much as like 50 just for one. So depending on your market and your needs, your clients, what you think is reasonable, maybe what other people are charging in your area too, you can determine your pricing as needed. All right. So another email question here. This person says, is it possible to have a few different gallery themes? I would like to have a theme for all of my seniors and then a different theme for my commercial client galleries. So yes, it is totally possible. Let me get my head out of the way and I'll show you here. So let's go into that wedding. Where was that? There we go. So let's say that I want one theme on the ceremony and one theme on the portraits following the ceremony. Personally, I would not recommend doing this all within one gallery because it can get really weird and crazy looking. But just for the sake of an example, I want to show you guys this here. So I'm going to go to preview at the top. And I'm going to go to edit and then page to actually get into the editable area whenever it wants to load. So I'm in the group right now. I can apply a theme to the group itself, leave it be, whatever you want to do, if there is even a group involved. For this, I'm going to open the ceremony one in a different tab. And then I'm going to click on the portraits one here. So we can look at both of these at the same time. So for the portraits one, let's just say for some reason I wanted this one to be, I don't know, what themes do I have here? More monochrome. I can select it and apply that to just this gallery. You'll notice I unchecked the option to use the default settings because we're using different settings from a totally different theme. And, you know, it looks 100% different than that other one does now. And you'll see even if I refresh this page, I'm still going to have this exact same theme applied. You can definitely do this per gallery as needed. Now, if I went in and I guess made that the default setting, if I made this the default setting, and this was already set to follow the default settings, then it would take on those settings. But luckily we have that unchecked here, and we can apply something totally different here if we want to. Does not matter what, really. So we'll just go with that one. And now I have two completely different themes on here. One cool thing is if you, wow, that looks atrocious. One cool thing here is that if you have, I guess, clients, especially commercial clients, like let's just say you did a shoot for Coca-Cola. You could have like the red Coca-Cola as the theme, like the red and white. If you shot something different for, trying to think of other brands, let's just say Nike, you could do a like plain black and white theme and have like the Nike logo and a banner. You can totally switch things up depending on your clients. Again, I really wouldn't recommend doing this in the same thing because going from this to this, it's going to look like a totally different site. But just know that it is an option if need be. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard here. And I'm definitely not publishing that, but do know that if you wanted to publish your settings, you would definitely want to be sure to do that to make sure that your customers would be able to see it. All right. Well, chat is a little slow today. You guys should definitely throw out your questions because I want to make sure I get everything answered here today. Literally anything from the basics onwards is totally fine. So here to help if you do have questions. But I will take a email question again. This one says, I uploaded a logo, but when I look at my site on my phone, it just says my name where the logo should be. Is that normal? No, so you can actually upload a mobile logo. And to do that, you'd want to be in the Customize website view. I'm going to open a new tab here. And it's actually, all of your logos are going to be uploaded and applied in the Customize website view. And there's a couple different areas you can do that. Robert actually just covered this on a different Zenfolio live session. So if I can get Claudia to find that link and throw it out, that would be awesome. Because Robert went over literally every single logo you could think of, and that should be helpful. But just to answer the question here live on air, it is in the site settings area in the bottom left, and it is on the logo and icons tab. The tricky thing is that you do have to scroll down a little bit. It does get missed a lot, unfortunately. You'll have your quick shop logo here, your web browser icon, also known as a favicon, and then you've got your mobile logo. So the mobile logo is where you would want to upload that. Just by default, I think it does use your display name, and just uploading a logo will not make it automatically go. Because sometimes people want a different one on their mobile site versus their main site. Maybe something sized down a little bit. You do also have a pre-order logo available now. That's kind of a new feature. Our awesome engineers have been uploading the pre-order area recently. So you can upload a logo there too now if you're interested. All right. So Roxanne said, I've copy and pasted the links. Are they going to be available on this YouTube video after the live tutorial? Yes, if you follow along on this video afterwards, it should be published just a little while after the live stream. The chat will actually be available on the right and kind of pop up as you go. If you just like scroll forward to the end of the video, you can find all the links in the chat that Claudia has been nice enough to throw out for us. All right. So let's see here. This person says, is there a way to give clients a discount if they order within the first week of their gallery being live? So yes, you can create a coupon with an expiration date, which will push them towards ordering early. And this is actually explained in a help guide article, if I can get Claudia to throw out that link. It's just a creating coupons sort of help guide thing. But I can show you the expiration specifics for the coupons. So I will need to go back to my dashboard here. I'm going to go into selling, and then I'll go to coupons and campaigns in the bottom right here, and I'll just go to new. So when I create this, if I really want to encourage some quick ordering, I can just name this something. The customer will not see the actual name, they'll see the coupon code. I can just name this order quickly for Smith wedding. And for the coupon code, I don't know, we can just say it's going to be 25 Smith wedding. And we'll say that it's 25% off. Maybe I'll add that in the name just to remind myself. And when I scroll down here, if I'm giving 25% off all products, I'll want to change the type from an amount to a percentage and mark that as 25. I could discount the shipping in addition, but for this particular one, I'm not going to. I can mark what I want it to be applicable towards, in this case, just everything. I will select a gallery though. Make sure it's only going to apply to the Smith wedding. So just that entire group there. Because I don't want, like, let's just say he happens to know a bride from last year. You know, you don't want them to be like, oh, hey, guess what? I got this coupon. And then the other bride tries to use it on their gallery that's really old. So you might just want to narrow it down to just them. Now, the important part here is going to be the expiration date. I'm going to set it so that there is an expiration. And let's just say I just uploaded this today, on the 28th of June. I might go forward and just cut this off in a week, just to, again, encourage that quick ordering, because it is, some people will just sit on it forever and they will never get around to ordering unless you really say like, hey, there is a big discount if you order quickly. So I would set the expiration date maybe within a week, maybe even shorter than that. Totally depends on what you want to do there. And then I would just save it and provide them with the discount code. One quick thing you can do too, with this code, you can reach out to people in your contact list. If you have visitor sign-in turned on that gallery, as people are signing in, you can use that triggered email feature that we mentioned before. And whenever someone signs in, they would be sent this code immediately. So I can show you that real quick. That's going to be under email communications. Works very similar to that favorites one that we were looking at earlier, but this time it would just be visitor sign in on a gallery. So as soon as they signed in, you could say like, hey, if you order within a week by whatever day, I guess it was July 5th, you'll get 25% off your order, but the cutoff time is literally 11:59 on July 5th. So anyone who visits the gallery will see that email and be encouraged to order very, very quickly. So that would be my recommendation of those two things together, probably. All right. What else have we got here? Perfect. So Claudia threw out some links for us. Definitely be able to check those out later, like Roxanne asked. But I would recommend looking at them. They go into a lot greater detail than I am here today. They'll walk you through it step by step with screenshots too. All right. What else have we got? This person says, I'm having trouble importing my contact list from my email. Can you walk me through the steps so I can make sure I'm doing this right? So yes, once you have exported your contact list as a CSV file from Google or Outlook or whatever, you can import that file into your contact list, which is what this person is referring to. So if you already have like a big list of people built up for your photography business, you don't necessarily have to plug those in one by one. So in order to do that, you're going to want to go to the communications area and go to contact. And once we're here, you can import using the import button. And again, this does have to be a CSV file. I believe that stands for comma separated value. It's basically like a Excel sheet pretty much. So when you have exported them like that, our system will be able to read it. But if you just export like some random like notepad document, it is not going to work. So once you are there, you'll just want to import the CSV rather than doing it by email, because that's a lot. The CSV is definitely the easiest way to go, I would say. So you would then choose the file, browse through your computer for it, find it, and then just scroll down and click import. And honestly, that's pretty much it. You could tag these entries if you wanted to, and just say like old photography contacts or from email, something like that. Tag them to a specific gallery. But one thing that I actually did when I set up my own account, I just created a gallery called like old contacts, just so I had them all in one area and could easily reach out to them like on a email list, just whenever I needed to. And I have a group called mailing list, and I'll kind of like separate people and tag them out as needed. So I hope that helps a little bit. All right. What else have we got here? We do have about 20 minutes left, guys, so if you do have any questions, be sure to throw them out there. This user says, my visitor tracking area doesn't seem very accurate. I've had users visit galleries and place orders, but in that same gallery it is showing 0 visitors. Why is that? So we offer some pretty basic visitor tracking. It's definitely not the best, and Zenfolio is completely aware of that and self-admitting. But we do have some really awesome other alternatives for you to use. But the thing is, when you are using the Zenfolio tracking method, if someone visits your site or a gallery and they just look at the thumbnail page and never go to a photo page or your quick shop page, they will not be marked as a visitor because it's looked at as like, oh, they're not actually like looking at the images. Also, if they go back in a second time, they won't be recorded as a new visitor in that case either. So if someone on the same computer goes and looks at it like a couple times, then someone else goes in and looks at it a couple times, they're going to be completely just one visitor. So again, but the way around that, we actually offer Google Analytics setup and stat counter setup through your Zenfolio account. And to get there, to set that up, you would want to go to the settings area, which I'll get to by hovering over my name and going to account. And then it should be under website. And we've got visitor tracking here. So you can actually set up a Google Analytics or Stat Counter account, or both. Really, I just feel like Google Analytics does everything I need it to, but you can totally do both. You would just kind of click on this for instructions on how to enable it. You would basically just sign up for an account and plug in all your information and you're good to go. So it's pretty straightforward. But yeah, when you go into the actual like visitor stats under communications, you might see some really weird and wonky stuff that just does not make sense. Hopefully you have more visitors on your site than I do on this demo account. But yeah, it'll probably say something like 1 visitor, and then you have like 2 orders, and you're like, wait, how did that happen? So that would be why. It's just not marked as like an actual visitor in some cases. So Google Analytics will go into a lot more detail than the Zenfolio version will. So it would be my recommendation to set that up in your account. All right. So got another one here. I want users to be able to download images from events for free, but I don't really want them to have the original file size either. Is there a way around this? So yes, you can certainly allow visitors to save smaller versions of your images. They're basically like the little display sizes that Zenfolio creates automatically. So with that, you'll want to go to your gallery's access control area and kind of control how big you want to allow the downloads to be first and foremost. So using the ceremonies one, I'll go to access and let's see, we'll go to display size. I'm going to check that this one's going to be different than the group it's in, and let's just say I only want them to be able to download up to the large size. With that, they would probably be able to order like a 5x7, but that would kind of generally be the largest they could do. So we would click save, and from there we can go to preview, and we'll open up the customize website area. Oh yeah, I've got this weird theme applied, I forgot about that. So we'll go to edit and then page. Man, purple and green. Going Barney over here. All right. Come on. There we go. So once you're in the customized website area, you will want to go to the quick shop area, assuming you have a price list applied. And with that, you can set up a way for them to download just those smaller sizes. So I would go to Options, go to Quick Shop, and turn downloads on here. Again, this is not the original size free download. That's going to be set up back in the gallery itself. So this is just going to be those very smaller ones. And let's see. Oh, there we go. So there is a download button here now, and you'll see it only goes up to that largest size, which can be super, super nice. And that way, you know, they're not just going to like take your images and blow them up to like a 36 by 24 and run away. So that would be my recommendation there. You can also do this on galleries you don't have, I guess, selling set up for like a price list applied to, which is probably going to be the case most of the time if you're just providing these images for free anyway. So for that, it's going to be very similar. You'll go to Options again, but this time, where is that button? Well, what have I done? Hold on. It's on the thumbnails photo overlays tab. It's the option to save images. That one's been a while for me. So in the photo overlays area, you'll set up the option to save images. So it's pretty similar. But this time they will hover over the image in order to access that little download area. And I'll show you that here. Just gonna think about it first. There we go. So now when I hover over it, I'll go to Menu and Download, and then there are these options here. So that one's a little bit more hidden, and you may need to provide instruction on how to download those for free. But that said, if you do have a price list applied, the other way is very straightforward. So I hope that helps. We do have some stuff going on in chat here, so let me get caught up. Roxanne said, is there a link to all the tutorials available? Yes, they are on YouTube. I think Claudia sent out a link to our support center as well and is getting that YouTube channel link. If you go to our, I think it's just the playlist, there is a playlist of all the help tutorials and a playlist of all of the Zenfolio live tutorials, and they're kind of broken up. So you can just view whatever makes sense for you and whatever you want to look at. And some of them go back to a very, very long time ago, so don't judge us too harshly. But I hope that answers that question. All right. Oh, and if I could get Claudia to throw out a couple links with the downloading of smaller display sizes. There is a really good help guide article on this for allowing the downloading of those smaller sizes. So I'll get her to send that out when she gets a chance. Okay, so this person says, I'm using one of the full screen layouts on my homepage and I can't seem to get it to crop well no matter what I do. So let me show you what this person is talking about. I think is the easiest way to do it. I'll just go to the home page and show you the different layouts here. So I'm using a classic layout on my home page currently, and the classic layouts will allow you to show the full image, whether it's a vertical or a horizontal. It will show the full thing. So yeah, you'll see my vertical here, and it has a transparent background. Now when you go with one of these full screen layouts, they will just say full screen here. Just because of the way different browsers and different computer monitors are sized, some cropping will occur, unfortunately. And the best thing I can recommend, honestly, if you're really set on one of these full screen layouts, instead of doing a slideshow, you might want to look at the photo strip option. And the photo strip will allow you to show the full image, horizontal or vertical, and still have that full screen look and effect. This is going to look really weird right now because of all the weird stuff I have. But you'll see with this slideshow, like it right there, it crops the vertical one downward just to fit that into a horizontal, basically. So it can be kind of a pain in the butt, especially if you really want to display your images nice and big. So again, my personal recommendation would be to go into the background content, change it from a slideshow to a photo strip. And with this, you'll see when you kind of like hover over the edges, it just scrolls through. And I get that full vertical there with no cropping. Now with the slideshow though, if you really do like the look of the slideshow, you can change the image position. I typically, when I do these, I just try to choose the ones that work the best for the particular layout. So I would obviously choose only horizontals in that case. But in addition, I would try to, if I'm going with this middle center one, try to choose ones where the subject is in the center, like this one with my grandma. She would be too far over to the left and would probably get cut out a little bit. It would just not look great. Or you could even do this for like the top center, so like where people's heads are kind of toward the top of the frame. If you have a bunch of really cool images where they're in the bottom, there's also the bottom center one. You can kind of play around with it, look at your images and see which ones you have the most of that you want to display on your homepage. But you'll see that it's going to look a little bit crazy for some of the verticals, and again, I would just recommend really just doing the photo strip or narrowing down your images to fit this a little bit better. Alright, so it looks like Roxanne is good to go with those links. That's awesome. Do let me know if you have any other questions though, Roxanne. We do have about 10 more minutes, so do have a little bit more time here. But for now, I'll take a couple more email questions. This one says, is there a way to add a photo to the contact page? So, wow, I can barely see this. Hold on. Let me change back to my old layout so I can actually see what I'm doing here. We'll just go with that one. So on the contact page, the built-in one, it is not possible to add an image, I'm afraid. It's just not something there's a room for on the built-in page, really. But what you can do instead is create a custom page. And with the custom page, you can do whatever you want to. And there are websites like Jotform, for example. They're one that we use. You can make your own form and have it email you when someone fills out that form. And Jotform is completely free, but they, I think, have like a little advertisement at the bottom. I think you can upgrade to get rid of that. And a lot of other third-party companies are very similar. So you could just kind of create your own form and embed it on a custom page and put whatever images you wanted on a custom page too. You could even do like a slideshow above or below it. So in order to do that, Jotform, for example, would give you a code at the end of the embed form. So you would actually go to embed it into your custom page. And that code, you would just take it and literally copy and paste it into Zenfolio. So I'm going to go to website and custom pages just to kind of show you here. So I'll go to new. So there's this handy source button here. When I click that, I can then paste the code and then click source again and it should show up. You can embed anything in there, really. Like you could do a YouTube video, really whatever you want. As long as you have an HTML code, it should work just fine. All right. So this person says, why do videos take so much longer to render than the still photos? It takes nearly triple the time for me. So just to kind of explain the video process a little bit, once a video upload is complete, the clips will be converted to use a codec, H.264. And in simple terms, it's just being converted into a new format so that it will play on Zenfolio. And it's processed into a few different resolutions as well. Because when you're in Zenfolio, you do have the option to change that resolution. So if your browser is going super slow, you can just kind of like turn it down and it won't buffer so much. So we generate the HDTV, not HGTV quality, which is 1920 by 1080 pixels. And we also do the 1280 by 720 pixels. So we just do a couple different aspect ratios, but we don't do anything larger than the actual video size. So if you need to, you can always just upload a smaller resolution. It won't necessarily like ruinate the quality of your video, but instead of doing like the HD video, you could just do something a little bit smaller. And the processing can take anywhere from several minutes to several hours, just depending on the size of it and the runtime and the resolution. Also, if you're uploading a lot of videos at the same time, that can also affect it. And when the process is actually complete, on top of that, multiple thumbnails will be generated to represent the video clip, and that'll take some time as well. So, you know, Zenfolio definitely tries to, I guess, be there for video hosting as well, but, you know, mostly a photography site. So, you might see some, I guess, discrepancies with the video stuff, unfortunately. But honestly, it doesn't go too terribly slow, but it is going to be slower than the photos for sure. Because with those, we just like quickly convert them to different sizes and they're done. So I hope that answers that question. We do have about 5 minutes left, so any last minute questions, do feel free to throw those out. All right. So this one says, is it possible for me to batch rename a bunch of photos in a gallery? I need to shorten the file name so that my clients can see the whole file name displayed below the photo. Yes, that is possible. Let me move my head out of the way for this one because we're going to need some room. So for this gallery, let's say that I need to change the file names. I would go to Details and then Bulk Update Metadata. And basically what you'll do here is download a CSV file. I'll actually show it to you real quick. And again, this is basically just an Excel file, and you can open it and make changes to it as needed. So you can update the titles, captions, keywords, all that good stuff in a program like Excel. And then you just kind of save it and re-upload it. So I'm going to move this over here. So you'll see that I have like the file names here. If I need to like shorten these in some way, I could totally do that. Just kind of select all, and let's see, I could just type something simple like, let's do D. Well, it didn't do it for all of them. Never mind. But you can go through and totally shorten these and save them, delete any information you need to. The only thing you will not want to delete or edit is going to be the Zenfolio photo ID, because that's how we kind of like sync everything up. So I would just take a look at that, do whatever editing that you need to do, and then you should be good to go. So I hope that answers that question. All right, so we're not saving that. But then you would just kind of re-upload the CSV, and then you should be good. And it'll basically just kind of overwrite whatever's there already and update it with those new changes. So let's see if we can fit in one more question here. All right. So this one says, my soundtrack isn't playing in Safari. I just updated my browser. Am I doing something wrong, or is it the update? So Safari did actually disable autoplay recently. I think it was within the past year. And some other browsers have been kind of like making changes similar to this. So if you are seeing something like this, you might want to reach out to our support team and see what they can recommend. But I know with Safari there is definitely something that needs to be changed. And what you'll want to do is go into Safari, then to Preferences, then Websites, and then Autoplay. And from there, there's a little drop-down menu. You'll want to select Allow All Autoplay. The only unfortunate thing about this is that it probably won't autoplay for your clients unless you tell them to do all this stuff. It's just unfortunately something a lot of browsers have been doing. Personally, I think the music is a little outdated anyway, which I think is why they do this, because most people are listening to their own music whenever they're browsing through their gallery anyway. So having that extra music and like them having to pause it, it's just going to be an annoyance, honestly. Personal opinion. But while it is a little bit old school, you know, it is totally able to be done still if you want it there. So we are just about out of time, guys. I don't think I have time for any more questions. But all that said, I hope I have answered all your questions that you guys had here today. If you do have any more, feel free to reach out to our support team at support@zenfolio.com, and we'll be happy to answer anything else you've got. If you're having a specific issue, definitely be sure to send us screenshots, provide order numbers, as much detail as possible, and we'll be happy to help. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, a great weekend, and a July 4th holiday, because we will see you after that. So have a good one, guys. Take care.